With a few extra days in our plan, I hunted and found another new area off the beaten path. We made this trip just before docking in Montana for our annual backpacking excursion. I discovered the Kirwin Trail after reviewing maps of the forest areas near our supply stop, Cody, Wyoming. Hello,
everybody.
We are traveling on the Kirwin Trail, which takes us up to a ghost town. It's about 27 miles long. The first part of it was paved. We are now on a gravel or maintained road, and we are going to go hunt for campsites, and then we will take the final 10 miles in the Jeep to go find our ghost town. We enjoyed camping in a meadow complete with cows the next morning. We also spent a morning drive up the Jeep trail to the old mining town Kirwin. A few buildings and even a mine shaft have gone through some restoration, making it a safe and interesting place to visit. Let's go explore the Wood River area and the old mining town Kirwin. Getting to this area was very simple. We traveled from Cody, Wyoming, where we had wally docked for the night with probably 40 other RVers, and headed south along the Wyoming 120. It's about 41 miles to your turn onto Wood River Road. The turn is just beyond a recreation sign before the Sunshine Reservoir. From here, it is 27.9 miles out to Kirwin, and the road in is paved, and then it turns into maintained gravel. Like I said, the road starts paved and then turns into maintained gravel. It's still an easy drive even after you're in the national forest, but only until you pass the two established campgrounds. We drove through both campgrounds, figuring we may need to turn around if we were unlucky locating any dispersed camping. Big Wood River campground was more compact, but also had a couple sites next to the river. Brown Mountain was more spread out, and although near the river, it wasn't right next to it. But both of them did have vault toilets. They would have both been great alternatives if we needed them. After the campgrounds, the road turns into a rutted, rocky, twisting climb. But what a view. We ended up unhitching the Jeep at Brown Mountain Campground so we could scout for dispersed areas back further. The trail info noted 3 river crossings the last 10 miles of this trail. We crossed 2 of them and ended up in an open meadow that would work out well for our stay. Well, we passed the 2 established campgrounds along this trail and found this meadow, so we were going to stay here. We're less than 7 miles from the ghost town, so we will be checking that out tomorrow. But for the rest of the day, this is our home sweet home down in the meadow after 2 river crossings. So I think we may have 1, maybe 2 more to go to get to the ghost town. Actually, it looks really cool, and I'm so happy to be up in some elevation where the cooler weather's coming in, and hopefully we don't get caught in too much rain. They had a ton of rain here yesterday, but the roads were still really manageable, not too much mud left on them. Yay! Over there is the cows. serenading us. Over there is the cows 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 seren
They're also over there somewhere.
Aesthetic and keeping the top sides not have bolts. So the hatch mount right here was installed into this thing with some zinc threaded inserts into the wood. There's a lot of force on this when it first starts to open and it's torn loose. It's entirely likely it might tear completely off when I try to open it this time. So I'm going to raise it and lift on it. I'll try to prevent that from happening, but the plan today is to replace it with some through bolts. Okay, now it's part way up, it will continue to go, but I need to get it all the way up so I can take all the load off the door. Okay, so this is the reason why the holes are so close to the edge of the bracket that the head of the nut canks the bolt over at an angle, so I ground it off. It'll have the additional advantage of keeping it from turning when I'm tightening the nut. These are the devices that I originally used to hold it in, which was a zinc insert nut designed for wood. This is a short one. It's not particularly long, and it ripped the wood out entirely. So now I'm going to bolt it all the way through, which is something that I wanted to do before, but I was hesitant to do it because the bolt going all the way through could be a potential rainwater leakage, but because this is covered with a solar panel on the top, it's really not a big concern. Way out already. I have bolts run to it.
Although there wasn't recent cow pies where we parked, we figured out we were definitely on a cow path the next morning as they mooed past us in droves. But that was all just straight entertainment, and it was still a great sight. We also were not that far from the road. However, traffic was light with only a couple of tour jeeps, a handful of ATVs, and a few trucks, including the forest ranger, coming through daily. All in all, we enjoyed the spot, and we even had a couple stop by curious about the camper. So that was a nice surprise, and it was fun to visit with them. This little community sparked to life with gold and silver being discovered in the mid-1880s. Kirwin was pretty unique as far as the rough and tumble mining towns go, in that it never had a single saloon or brothel. Numerous mine shafts were dug into the mountains before 1900, and then the Wolf Mine wasn't started until the 1940s. This shaft house has been restored and is an easy walk to go check out. At its peak, there were about 200 miners and their families living here. And while summers were pleasant, the winters were brutal, and the town suffered through a few avalanches before dwindling in population. Eventually, the mining operations were determined to be a bust. There was more money invested than ever was made in this little town.
The big winch, there's the poor bucket laying right down there.
When you arrive at the town, there is a vault toilet, parking area, and forest signs detailing the history of Kirwin. From there, you can walk a little further down the road, locate the bridge crossing the river. Once you cross the river, take your time and just explore the town and the Wolf Mine Shaft. One last tidbit about Kirwin is Amelia Earhart started to build a cabin here in 1934. However, that was just before her last flight, so as you can expect, the cabin was never finished. You can go visit the site following a trail just beyond the end of the road. We really enjoyed finding this route, the canyon, and our camp area, and would definitely return in the future. The established campgrounds were nice and clean. As you are driving on towards the forest boundary, you do lose cell signal soon after the residential area ends, making this a completely unplugged place. But with the ghost town, some hiking and fishing, there's plenty to do. We don't know about you, but we take naps. They are just one of those luxuries you can have when you are retired. After this, we will be in Montana for a bit, and we'll share our time there, including the backpacking trail we conquered. Until next week, thank you for joining us and checking out our custom camper and travels. We greatly appreciate hearing from you, especially getting questions on the rig. Click that thumbs up if you liked the video, and drop us a comment or question below. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to click the subscribe button to follow our rig projects, repairs, and updates, along with our somewhat meandering travels in this new rig. We are here to share and inspire others who are building and traveling in RVs. We hope to see you out on the road, and good luck with your working and exploring.